In 2025, Dubai International Airport handled 95.2 million passengers, a world record, the most international travelers ever processed by a single airport in a single year. And the response from Dubai's government wasn't celebration, it was panic. Because that record number wasn't a triumph, it was a warning. DXB was designed for 90 million passengers. It just handled 95 million, and it's heading toward 100 million. In an airport built inside a city, surrounded by highways and residential neighborhoods on every side, with zero room to add a single new runway, a single new terminal, a single new gate. The world's busiest international airport has hit a wall, a physical, geographic, completely immovable wall. And so, Dubai made a decision that nobody in aviation history has ever made before. They are going to close it, the whole thing, permanently. One of the most successful airports ever built, gone, turned into real estate, and replaced by something 40 kilometers away in the desert that doesn't fully exist yet. Nobody knows exactly when, nobody knows exactly how, and that uncertainty is the most important story in global aviation right now. DXB opened in 1960. Dubai was a small trading port. The airport was a modest airfield serving a handful of regional routes. Nobody designing it in 1960 imagined it would one day be the crossroads of the world. And that's exactly the problem. The airport grew in the wrong place, right in the geographic heart of the city. As Dubai expanded, the city built around the airport. Highways, shopping malls, apartment blocks, industrial zones, all pressed right up against the perimeter fence. DXB today spans 1,750 hectares. It has 2 parallel runways, 3 terminals, and a concourse, Concourse A, specifically built for the Airbus A380, the largest passenger aircraft ever made. The infrastructure is exceptional. The location is a trap. There is no room to add a third runway. The neighborhoods on both sides make it physically impossible. There is no room to expand the terminals. The road network surrounding the airport can barely handle current ground traffic. The 90 million passenger design capacity wasn't a conservative estimate, it was the absolute physical ceiling. In 2025, DXB processed 95.2 million passengers. Traffic forecasts for 2026 projected nearly 100 million, nearly 10% beyond what the airport was ever designed to handle. By 2031, the airport's own CEO, Paul Griffiths, projected 114 million passengers would try to move through an airport built for 90 million. The math is impossible, and Dubai has known it for years. The question was never whether DXB needed to be replaced, it was whether the replacement could be ready in time. 40 kilometers southwest of DXB, in the Dubai South District, sits what will eventually become the largest airport ever built on Earth. Al Maktoum International Airport, also known as DWC, also known as Dubai World Central. The numbers are staggering by design. 5 parallel runways, 400 aircraft gates, 8 terminal buildings, an underground train system connecting terminals in 15 to 20 minutes, biometric immigration, no passport checks, facial recognition end-to-end, and a total annual passenger capacity of 260 million people. To put that in context, the current world's busiest airport, DXB, handles 95 million. Al Maktoum is being built for nearly 3 times that. It will be larger than any airport that has ever existed, larger than Heathrow, Atlanta, and Beijing combined in terms of planned capacity. The budget for the expansion currently underway, $35 billion. The $128 billion AED expansion plan, that's roughly $35 billion USD, is already in motion. Phase 1 is targeted for completion in 2033. The full transition from DXB, the moment every single flight moves from the old airport to the new one, is targeted around 2032 to 2035. And here's the statement that changed everything. Speaking at the Arabian travel market in 2025, DXB CEO Paul Griffiths confirmed publicly what had been whispered for years. DXB will close completely. The assets will be near the end of their operational life by the time DWC is ready. The economics of keeping both airports open simultaneously don't work, and those 1,750 hectares of prime urban real estate in the middle of one of the world's most valuable cities? Multiple Dubai developers are already making plans. The world's busiest airport will one day be a real estate development, and the clock is running. There is one factor that determines whether the entire DXB to DWC transition succeeds or collapses, and it has nothing to do with construction timelines or government budgets. It's Emirates Airlines. Emirates is not just the biggest tenant at DXB. Emirates is DXB. They operate more than half of all passengers through the airport. Their entire network, 150 destinations, 116 A380s, the largest wide-body fleet in the world, is built around one hub, one location, one set of runways. Moving Emirates from DXB to DWC is not a relocation. It is the single largest operational migration in the history of commercial aviation. The airport CEO himself described it as the largest airport transition in history, and it has to work perfectly because Emirates' hub-and-spoke model means that a disruption to Dubai doesn't just affect Dubai passengers. It affects the millions of connecting passengers flowing through Dubai between Europe, Asia, Africa, and Australia. Now, here's where the story gets genuinely complicated. Emirates right now is caught in its own crisis that directly collides with the DXB transition. The airline has 270 Boeing 777X aircraft on order, the planes that were supposed to replace their aging 777-300ERs and gradually allow A380 retirements. The 777X is 7 years late, not delivered yet, still not certified. Current best-case projection, 2027. So, Emirates is stuck. They cannot retire A380s they plan to retire because the 777X hasn't arrived. Instead of shrinking the A380 fleet, they're growing it, planning 110 operational A380s by end of 2026, up from 95. They've committed $5 billion to refitting the fleet, new cabins, premium economy, full interior overhauls, to keep 25-year-old aircraft flying into the 2040s. And all of those A380s, all of those 777s, all of that traffic, it currently depends on DXB, on runways and concourses built for a city that was a fraction of today's size, on infrastructure that by the time DWC is ready will be approaching the end of its operational life. The transition has to happen. The airline isn't ready for it, and the new airport isn't finished yet. There is a deadline that isn't on any official Dubai government document. It doesn't appear in the DWC construction schedule, but every serious aviation analyst knows it exists. Riyadh's deadline. Saudi Arabia is building King Salman International Airport, a new mega hub designed to handle 185 million passengers annually. The design is ambitious, the funding from Saudi Vision 2030 is committed, and the target operational date is 2030. Think about what that means in context. Dubai's DWC transition, the moment DXB closes and DWC becomes the primary hub, is targeted around 2032 to 2035. Riyadh's new mega airport opens in 2030. That is a 2 to 5 year window where Saudi Arabia has a brand new, purpose-built, world-class aviation hub fully operational, while Dubai is mid-transition, running an overcrowded DXB that is beyond capacity while DWC is still coming online. For 2 to 5 years, connecting passengers flying between Europe and Asia have a choice: transit through a strained, overcrowded DXB in the middle of a city, or transit through a brand new, uncongested, technologically advanced Riyadh hub that actively wants their connecting traffic. Emirates built Dubai's entire economic model on being the connecting hub between the Western and Eastern hemispheres. Every long-haul European to Australian passenger that stops in Dubai contributes to hotel bookings, retail spending, duty-free sales, and the entire tourism ecosystem that makes Dubai function. Riyadh is coming for that connecting traffic, and the timing of their airport opening relative to Dubai's transition creates a vulnerability window that Dubai's planners are acutely aware of and cannot fully eliminate. This is why Dubai is building DWC on an almost impossible timeline, not because of internal demand, because of external threat.
The title of this video asks what happens next, and the honest answer, the one the DXB CEO himself has given, is nobody fully knows. The timeline for DXB's closure is described officially as undetermined. Phase 1 of DWC targets 2033. The complete transition targets 2032 to 2035. But those dates assume construction stays on schedule. They assume Emirates fleet transition. The replacement of aging 777s with new 777Xs happens on Boeing's revised timeline. They assume Dubai South, the city being built around the new airport, develops fast enough to support the workforce and commercial ecosystem DWC needs to function. And they were created before February 28, 2026. Because something happened this month that added an entirely new dimension to this story. Iranian drone strikes on Gulf states forced the closure of UAE airspace. DXB was struck by debris from an intercepted drone. Operations were suspended. Emirates, the world's largest operator of the A380, had 37 of its super jumbos stranded at DXB and dozens more scattered at airports worldwide with nowhere to go. Tens of thousands of passengers were stranded. It was a preview, a stress test nobody ordered, and what it showed with absolute clarity is that an airline built entirely around a single hub in a region experiencing active geopolitical instability is running a concentration risk that no diversification strategy has yet addressed. The move to DWC doesn't solve that. The new airport is in the same emirate, under the same airspace, subject to the same regional dynamics. DWC will be the world's largest airport. It will be more efficient, more modern, and more capable than DXB in every measurable way. The ambition behind it is genuine, and the investment is real. But Dubai is racing 3 clocks simultaneously: the capacity clock at DXB, the Riyadh competitive clock, and the construction clock at DWC. All 3 are running at different speeds, and nobody, not the government, not the airlines, not the airport CEO, can say with certainty which one runs out first. Here's the full picture. DXB handled 95.2 million passengers in 2025, a world record in an airport designed for 90 million. By 2031, it is projected to handle 114 million. There is no room to expand. No new runways possible, no new terminals that fit. The airport is physically full. So Dubai is spending $35 billion to build the world's largest airport, 260 million passenger capacity, 5 runways, 400 gates, in the desert 40 kilometers away. The full transition targets 2032 to 2035. DXB will close permanently. The world's busiest airport will become a real estate development. Emirates, the airline that makes all of it work, is simultaneously dealing with 270 Boeing 777Xs that are 7 years late, an A380 fleet it was supposed to retire but is now expanding, and an entire hub operation that has to move without a single day of disruption to the passengers and connecting traffic that Dubai's economy depends on. And in 2030, Riyadh opens a 185 million passenger mega hub targeting the same connecting traffic that built Dubai into what it is today. This is not just an airport story, it is the story of a city-state betting its entire economic future on a construction project in the desert, racing a rival building at the same speed and running out of time at the airport it built its empire on. Nobody knows exactly what happens next. That's not a failure of planning. That's the scale of what Dubai is attempting. The world's biggest aviation gamble. Watch it closely.